Hi, this is Lori.
This is Peter.
And this is Hamilton.
We're with Heroes Character Rental, Character Rental Service, a subsidiary of Action Heroes LA. Here to do a review of Invisible Man. Invisible Man is the 2020 version, which came out when the pandemic started. So I know I didn't see it back then. Did you guys see it when it was in the theaters?
I saw it in theaters.
Oh, you saw it in the theater, Peter. Yeah, I wanted to see it because I remember when it came out last year, it had a buzz. And I was kind of like, at first, I didn't want to see it because I just thought it was going to be some more Hollywood, and it had a buzz around it, and then everything got shut down. So, I ended up seeing it on I think Amazon Prime or something like
that. Okay.
Yeah. So I saw it for two reasons. One, from the 1930s versions, I'm a big, horror movie fan and love those Invisible Man. So I was kind of like, same like you, Hamilton. I was kind of like, I'm not sure because it's not going to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lori told me she really liked that actress. And that she picks very good scripts.
Right.
So I had to go see it.
Right. I was interested in going to see it, but when the movie shut down, it was like, there's no way I'm going to a movie theater. And so, but it's like, as much I like it, it stars Elisabeth Moss, and she's a really fantastic actress. If you've seen her. She used to be in, well, God, what was that? Mad Men, the TV series. She's currently on Handmaid's Tale, which first season of that was amazing, and she was amazing in it. And I've noticed, I've listened to like reviews of movies she's been in, and I've always been like really good, positive reviews about these movies. And she does like small, independent. She doesn't do not a blockbuster kind of person. So when she was in Invisible Man, and I'm like, this is probably going to be pretty good. And the reviews, like I said, there was a buzz around it. So, but I didn't see it till about 2 weeks ago. It took me that long to kind of like, even though it popped up on HBO like a couple months ago or something for free. So, you guys Peter, you're a fan of the original Invisible Man. I don't recall. I probably saw it as a kid or something like that, but it didn't stick in my head. So what, you want to start or give your impression of this one?
Sure. They are totally different. Totally different. Miss Moss plays a psychologically abused woman in this relationship with this guy.
I mean, she's more than psychologically abused. She references he does more to her than that. Yeah. But yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. She tries to find her, her way out of the relationship, or at least definitely out of that house. And I do want to say one thing about her though. I could not, at the beginning, figure out why is she in this position. Not too long, or I'll say within 20 to 30 minutes into the movie, I could not see anyone else playing this part.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me go through the stories about. She's in a relationship with a very successful, very rich scientist. It's an abusive relationship. So it opens up with her trying to sneak out to escape him, and then. As things happen, she does get away, and then she finds out he dies, and she's inherited all this money from him. So it's a really fascinating kind of psychological drama, as well as like very heavy on the suspense. I wouldn't call it so much a horror movie as a suspense movie. This movie takes its time to tell its story. It has you kind of edge of your seat by like when any little sound, any little steps you take once she's escaped, it puts you in the mind of a person with abuse and like post-traumatic stress syndrome. It really, you kind of feel that in their shoes, just how skillfully this movie is handled. So I don't want to go. Yeah, Hamilton, do you want to add anything?
Are we doing a spoiler-free or?
No, you can add. We always spoil everything, so I hope people know that by now. This movie's been out since March 2020. So
that's a review. Yeah,
guys.
I really like the metaphorical aspect of this character who's being haunted by this abusive person from their past who won't leave out of their life. I think that's an interesting take on this story. You know, like when I heard about it, when I saw the trailer, I just thought, oh, you know, I didn't see anything unique. But then when I started hearing people talk about it, and I realized it was about a woman who was being haunted by her abusive ex-lover or whatever, I just thought, oh wow, I gotta check that out. You know, yeah, like I thought it was interesting in the beginning when she let the dog out too. It just spoke
to let the dog free, yeah.
This person really is or was or whatever.
Yeah, so. It's kind of one thing, like even though her life is in danger, she's in threat, she's trying to escape, but she takes time to like release the dog, you know, the dog's got one of those like electronic collars that shocks them if they go a certain distance, and she takes time to free him at her own peril. But I wanted to say, spoiler alert, the guy isn't dead. He's a scientist, and what he's discovered is this invisible suit. So he can go around, and he goes around and he torments her. And I think, like I said, metaphorically, it really kind of an indication like women who are abused, are in a relationship and abused and aren't believed. I mean, it really ties into that, you know, because it looks like she's crazy. She's saying all this stuff. He's in an invisible suit, but all this stuff is definitely happening to her. But it's hard for anybody to believe her. And there's some deep reality to that kind of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, as a person who curses very little, through the first half of this movie, I was able to keep my composure and just watch it. Towards the second half of this movie, I must have MF'd and got up, and I did everything. And
yeah, I remember it was entertaining because I watched it with my friend, and it's I recommend it for anyone who hasn't seen this film.
Yeah, Peter and I watched together in the Lark Light. I was glad I was home watching it because it was one of those movies. Yelling at the screen was so much fun. Exactly. It's like, get the
knife, and I'm telling you, here it was the second time I saw it, and I was still staring in the parts that I should have stared at. I was still yelling. I was still jumping. This was a great movie. Whoever the actors and actresses were great. The editing was great. The writing. This was a movie.
It was just so skillfully and carefully put together, and things that were laid out at the beginning. They had like a complete resolution at the end, and that arc was just perfect and everything. It was directed by Leigh Whannell, written and directed by Leigh Whannell. So he's an Australian filmmaker. So that's be interesting to see what else he comes up. Oh, he did some Insidious movies, which is stuff I probably won't watch, but you know, it's just, you know, it's.
I've seen a couple of those.
Uh-huh.
One, which I think was his best, when my family and I went to go see it at the movies, we were the only ones there.
Oh.
And I don't mean that's how bad it was. That's how good it was.
That's how scary it was.
It will scare you naked.
No, Laurie, I think Leigh Whannell has a good reputation for this. So, I mean, that was going into this. I heard people saying that the director was doing something fresh, and he's kind of he has an original style and everything. So yeah, so
he's definitely somebody I look forward to seeing more stuff from. So I also want to mention Aldous Hodge is in this, and he's the black actor. He takes Elisabeth Moss' character in. He's a big, beefy black police officer, and stuff, which has nothing to do with anything. But I've seen this actor on TV, and he's been around a long time. He's always popped into stuff and stuff, and I like him a lot. And I'm just like, he's in another movie. He's in One Night in Miami, as he plays Jim Brown in that. And I was just impressed with him and his performance in that movie so much but anyway, I just like seeing him and stuff. I was glad to see him here. And one of the things, this movie's got layers to it. I think Peter and I talked about. It's got a lot of layers, like the psychological manipulation, the relatability to like women who are abused, and like the whole Me Too thing can tie into this in a very, in a very legitimate way. This is how you do a movie about that, something like that. And I mean, I think of it like the resolution you have. I think of it in terms of what's going on in society now. You have the rich white guy who manipulates, controls everything. Everything falls his way. And in the end, you have the woman and a person of color, triumphing over that. And I'm kind of hoping that's a sign of where things are going in society. It's where it needs to go. There's certain power structures that need to fall, and not so much, not to be eliminated, but it just needs to balance out. And I kind of thought of the layers of that movie, how kind of you could take it symbolically like that as well. So, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I dug it.
Yeah. I liked it. And well, for me, nothing was forced.
Right.
And boy, but I'm telling you, I could have ran out of there. It was that deep and that serious.
Yeah.
And wow.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is true, Laurie. I mean, like, I think it's the kind of film the writer wants you to be able to analyze it on different levels. And it's still entertaining. That's the most important thing to me personally. If it has a message, it has to be entertaining, or else somewhere you fail as a filmmaker. But this film has the message, and it has depth and layers, and it's also very entertaining. I'm sorry, y'all. I should have probably watched this movie again before doing this review.
No, it's okay. It's been a long time since it's cool, but it's cool. No, one thing, God, I just forgot what I was going to add to that too. No, it is. It's just really well put together, and just, it's just one of those things that's so well crafted. It's like, oh, that's good filmmaking. You often don't get that. And it's like so much of it is told without dialogue too. And that's always impressive to me. It's like you feel everything. You're just seeing her reaction, and you got the like perfect actress for like to follow reactions with Elisabeth Moss. But so much of it. In fact, after Peter and I watched it, I had to show it to my mom, and I showed it to my dad too, because he likes movies. He doesn't. It's hard. He's older. He's getting up there in age. It's harder to follow movies. So I knew it's like this movie is silent most of the way, but you can still follow the story and understand what's going on. So I felt it was something he could follow along too. So, but my mom loved it. So
yeah, I think if your mom likes it, it's worth recommending, because
absolutely recommend this movie.
Yeah, she watches a lot of films. So.
Yeah, she watches a lot of films.
I thought the plot twist at the end with the twin brother was interesting. So yeah, I mean, like I remember correctly, like you don't know for sure if he's really dead or not because of the.
Right. He said, yeah, it's a whole, is he
Yeah.
setting stuff up, or is it was the brother the guilty party, the Invisible Man all the time? I will say one beef I have about this is like what sets it up in the beginning, he supposedly dies, the abusive boyfriend dies and leaves her like $5-10 million to inherit. It's like, I wouldn't have taken that money. I know it's a lot, but I'd have been like Tina Turner. I say, all I want is my name. You can keep all the other stuff. Because it ties you into that person. I couldn't psychologically take it. I'm like, no. So that was hard for me, but I don't know. And it is a lot of money too. So,
But think about it from the perspective of before that we're talking about. I think it's like women who go through abusive situations. They take something out of that relationship because they feel like, well, like I went through this and I earned this, or I deserve this, or something. And maybe, like you said, maybe they shouldn't. Maybe that's.
I'm going with me, and you have to forgive me. We just watched the Tina Turner documentary that was released on HBO this weekend, which is really excellent and kind of like I get where she was coming from. She's like, I can have everything. I don't want any ties to him. I just want my name, and stuff. And that's where I would come from. It's like I don't want anything to do with this person. I don't want it ties you back into him psychologically. I don't think you can break psychologically if you still have a financial dependency on him, know. So yeah, but I mean and not everybody would feel that way. It's like so I don't know. For me, I couldn't do it. So anyway, do we want to wrap this up, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, let's wrap this one up. For me, it's 100%. You got to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you haven't seen it and you are looking for a good popcorn movie to watch, yeah, definitely check this out.
Is this a Blumhouse? Like was it Blumhouse we were
Yes,
talking about?
it is.
Yeah. So it's Invisible Man. It came out last year, 2020, with Elisabeth Moss, Aldous Hodge. See it. It's on HBO Max right now, so check it out. We out.
We out.